Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight, following last night's worst pay-per-view ending of all time. The most disappointing, the most confusing, and controversial ending we could have had to a pay-per-view. They followed it up with a Monday Night Raw that was much to do about nothing and completely ignored the problem, and we are here to talk about it right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Monday Night Raw Hell in a Cell Aftermath review. It's no laughing matter, but it's pretty freaking funny. Let's do it.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
It's really funny to me that they would just absolutely not address the one reason why all of us showed up to watch this piece of shit show in the first place. You didn't follow up at all. You didn't give us an explanation. You didn't offer us anything at all to try to allow us to wrap our heads around just what exactly it is you guys were trying to accomplish with the Hell in a Cell match last night between Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt. We're not going to go back into that. We're not going to tear that down. If you guys missed that, you missed an epic rant, and you can go check that out. I'll leave it linked in the annotations up above. But the one thing that annoys me the most is that this show started off with the one thing that none of us wanted to see. Something that comes off as controversial, but really is nothing more than laziness. It's nothing more than disgusting, and it's nothing that I think anybody is really interested in seeing, except for maybe Lana. Because Lana loves to look at herself. Lana loves to see herself on Instagram in her bathing suits and half naked and whatnot, and she's getting all this attention, and she's probably loving every minute of it. But you know who's not loving it? We're not. Because that was your intro to Monday Night Raw tonight, and it was just fucking awful. And before we even get into any of that, I can't help but tell you guys that Vince McMahon, he says to us, and he really does believe that he's a genius, right? But he shows us on a weekly basis that he is losing his goddamn mind. But on a night like tonight, he also proved to us that he is now a chicken shit. He's a chicken shit. He's afraid to acknowledge the issue, and they probably don't even know what to do. They screwed up so bad last night that I think they kind of just want us to move on. They're going to try to erase it from our memory. Sure, they showed a 20-second clip and moved really quickly away from addressing it at all. But I think they want us all to try to forget. And with the draft coming up, I don't know what they think is going to happen. Do you think that we're going to forget? You think just because Bakersfield, California didn't have the balls to boo this entire show from beginning to the end, that you're not going to feel your comeuppance with the crowd as soon as Seth Rollins or Bray Wyatt finally steps foot in some arena somewhere? It's going to happen. You're just delaying the inevitable. You're a chicken shit. Oh, we can't have Seth Rollins go out there and get AEW chants on Monday Night Raw. We don't want to hear that again. We don't want to get booed again. We don't know what the hell to do. So let's just scrap everything for now until we figure this shit out. That's what's happening. That's exactly what's happening as it pertains to the Universal Championship. The rest of this Monday Night Raw show, like I said, much to do about a whole lot of nothing. It was all about Tyson Fury. If you give a shit about Tyson Fury, then why are you watching professional wrestling? Obviously, your thing is boxing, and you follow boxing, and you like to watch people punch each other in the face with gloves on their hands, and you like to watch a sport that is no longer relevant, that nobody gives a shit about, and the fact that when you first mentioned Tyson Fury to me, I had to go Google his ass to find out who he was, is enough of a case in point for me to tell you guys that I'm right. Do you guys really care about what you're seeing with Tyson Fury and the Braun show? No. This show ended tonight with this overly booked, terribly forced Braun Strowman confrontation with Tyson Fury. And let me tell you this about Tyson Fury. I took a look at Tyson Fury for a minute while he was coming down the entrance ramp, and I thought it was Sami Zayn for a minute. And when my eyes cleared up just for a second, I'm like, okay, all right, so he's a 7-foot-tall Sami Zayn impersonator, and then he gets in the ring and he throws punches like Shane McMahon. It's bad enough we got one Shane McMahon throwing punches that aren't landing and flailing and wailing about like a dead fish. Well, not a dead fish, but like a fish that was dying on the deck of your ship, flopping around over there. We don't need that shit. We definitely don't need that. It was awful. It was awful. The pull apart, and then they're fighting again, and then the refs pull them apart, and then Tyson Fury's trying to hit referees. He's missing every single one of them. Braun Strowman, the same thing. He's trying to throw punches. People are selling punches that are missing by a mile. The whole entire segment was just a complete waste of everybody's time. It was a whole lot of hot garbage. If you're excited about this, I don't know what to tell you. You have mental problems. Or you're just a really big fan of Tyson Fury, or for some reason you still love Braun Strowman, who's nothing more than the modern-day version of the Big Show, and that's the end of it. They prove it more and more with every single show. I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. You know, if you had a job, obviously you guys have a job, right? Now, if you went to work and you screwed up, you messed up in a big way, you're going to be able to just not go to work the next day? Is that what you're going to do? Are you going to avoid the issues? No, you're going to go to work like a guy or a girl with a set of balls, and you're going to address the issue. You're going to apologize. Maybe you fucked up the big board meeting. Maybe you messed up the big presentation. You're not just going to avoid it and not show up to work the next day and wait the next day and the next day. Eventually you're going to go back to work and you're going to have to address these issues, but nobody goes to work at the WWE and they don't want to address anything. They just want to keep throwing shit in our faces and like, oh, we're stupid and we're dumb and look at the pretty colors. Oh, look at the pretty ladies and look at the muscle man. Oh, isn't this interesting? Isn't this cool? What do you think we are? A bunch of brainless morons? You can't do things and not follow up. You just can't. It's just fucking awful. Just like this episode of Monday Night Raw. Let's get up and down this thing because it's not even really worth my time. This wasn't worth my time watching. This wasn't worth your time watching. And this isn't really worth us talking about because we got bigger things coming our way. Wednesday night is where it's at. Monday nights are going to be where we're here bitching and moaning and crying in our coffee because Monday Night Raw made us a sour grapes fan, right? That's what most of you guys have to hear when you bitch and moan about wrestling, just like I have to hear. I'm a fan of this product. I'm a fan of the WWE for almost 4 full decades, people. I can't just look away. It doesn't work that way. If you can look away and you can turn it off, sorry to say, you're just not a real fan. And when WWE, if WWE ever does make that turnaround, it'll be even sweeter because you were sitting here through the suck times. Getting a little bit off track because I don't want to talk about this show. I don't want to sit here and tell you that I had to watch Lana in bed with a box of Milk Duds. He was melting all over the sheets. Couldn't get his lines out. Rusev's crying in the middle of the ring. Oh, why are you crying, baby Rusev? Lana's taking her clothes off at the top of the 8 o'clock hour. They used to at least have the decency to wait till after 9 p.m. when the programming on network television gets a little risque. They went right for the gusto. They're trying to make us not even wonder about the Universal Championship. We're going to start Raw with a sex scene. And have another man's wife banging somebody on the Titantron while he cries in the ring. It makes the whole thing even worse. Monday Night Raw literally began. It cut in from the new entrance song and everything that makes you feel like maybe they're going to show you a wrestling program. And then you got Randy Orton and King Corbin in there beating down Rusev. Already Already. Why? Why is Bobby Lashley on Team Flair? Like, what is going on? Why do they have any reason to be beating down Rusev? Are they all taking turns with Lana? Is Randy Orton up next? Is she one of the things that Baron Corbin won by becoming King of the Ring? Did he win a shot with fucking Lana? Are they all going to Milwaukee to do this thing? I don't understand it. It was nonsense. All for them the two of them to stand there and laugh at Rusev after they beat him down, after Bobby Lashley trying to sleep with his wife on TV, and then Rusev flips out. He's throwing steel stairs all over the place. He's attacking Orton and Corbin, and he's just freaking out. Now, all of a sudden. Awful. Am I watching fucking Days of Our Lives, or are we watching the WWE? I understand wrestling's always had a little bit of soap opera, and I understand that you can do these, relationship-based storylines fighting over a woman and whatnot. But the big mistake here is, one, it's Bobby Lashley. I can't stand Bobby Lashley. I don't like looking at him. I don't like that he's getting a push. I don't like that he's considered a major star. He's just a big, bald-headed, muscle-bound doofus that we don't need because we got plenty of those already. The other thing is, you got Rusev and Lana, an actual married couple that you see on fucking social media. She shares everything. They're happily married. None of this is believable, and it's just hot garbage. After all this, the crowd starting to chant for Rusev again, and I don't know who to chant for anymore. I don't know who's good, who's bad, what's going on. Everything is all messed up, and I don't know where to direct any of my attention. And what are we doing with Rusev? You come back and you make him look like the Bulgarian Beast again. He's coming back all vicious and shit. But then you're putting him on Team Hogan, and now he's got his wife cheating on him, and now the whole crowd's cheering for him. What are you guys doing? Last woman standing match, Natalya and Lacey Evans. Told you guys last night on the Hell in a Cell review. It was ridiculous to have this match on the pre-show yesterday. It was ridiculous to have this match once again. It seems to me that ever since Jim the Anvil Neidhart passed away, the WWE has just been giving Natalya the big old, we love you and you're awesome push, and we don't want you to have a mental breakdown, so we're going to give you lots of work to do, and we're going to make you look great, and we're going to put you on TV every single week, and you're going to get to work with Lacey Evans, and it's going to be just great. Don't worry about all of your real-life problems. We're going to give you the sympathy push, and it's going to be great. But let's just hope that now it's finally over. Because where else could they possibly go from this? Do you care? Did you care about the last woman standing match tonight? I did not care one bit. The only thing I wanted to see is when it was going to be over. Nearly 20 minutes. And all of this got out of control. Natalya stayed down till the count of 9, the first time she was down on her back. What? What? You got to build up to that. And now every time Natalya was on the floor, she decided to take a 9-second nap. You can't be down from 9 from the first few friggin' moves of the match. Especially when you're going to end on such a big thing like going through a table off the announce stage. Or the entrance stage, rather. Through the announce table at one point. You got all these big spots that are going to need you to stay and lay out till the count of 10. Natalya's staying there from a forearm. This is a 10-year veteran. Supposed to know ring psychology. Fucking stupid. And she kept barely getting back to her feet. The ref was like, 9. And then she'd spring up like a damn slinky. Boing. Absolutely ridiculous. Natalya powerbombs Lacey Evans off the stage through the table. Who cares? Who cares? Lacey Evans stays down for the count of 10. She's not going to be down for long. Hopefully this is the end of it, and that's the best thing that could possibly come out of it. Oh, Lacey Evans looked great in this match. Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? We all know what we think about bam, bam, get off the TV and get your mothballs. You smell like cat pee. The fuck out of here with Lacey Evans. Who cares? She could be as tough as nails. She could be a U.S. Marine. They got to do something different with her for me to give a shit. Maybe keep her off TV for a little while. Give her the Seth Rollins, Bray Wyatt treatment. Let her go away. Maybe when she comes back, you could do it differently. Tweak her just enough that I might give a shit. Alistair Black cuts a promo in the back. We're going back to this. This guy went from waiting for somebody to pick a fight to starting to challenge people on his own to now sitting in the back once again waiting for people to pick a fight with him once again. I didn't care about it during the first go-round. I certainly don't care about it this time. This is a travesty, the way that Alistair Black has been featured on this main roster programs. It is not indicative of the character or the wrestler that he truly is, the one that I was exposed to when he came to us in NXT. Most of you guys that know him as Tommy End from his independent scene work in the United Kingdom know this to be a fact, and this is just terrible how they are using Alistair Black. The Street Profits showed up to start hooting and hollering over a whole bunch of nothing. They talked about the draft. They said they're finally going to have separate rosters. They started to go down a couple of the guys on the list. They talked about Apollo Crews. They talked about Drake Maverick. Who the fuck cares where Drake Maverick's going to end up in the draft? They talked about Buddy Murphy. They talked about Tyson Fury and Braun Strowman. Who cares? Then they jumped to an interview with Tyson Fury backstage. Charlie Caruso conducting the festivities. He was greeted by a loud chorus of boos because, like myself, most wrestling fans don't give a shit who this guy is, nor do we care to learn about it. Fury said he wasn't trying to provoke Braun Strowman. He admitted that maybe he shouldn't have jumped the barricade, you think, which led him to getting escorted from the building. However, he wasn't going anywhere tonight, and he wants an apology from Braun Strowman, or he's going to get these hands. Zero interest. The Viking Raiders defeated the tag team champions Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode in a non-title matchup. My least favorite thing that they do to their champions. We've said this on this show on multiple occasions. We do it every time. We, in fact, just said it last week when they did it to Bayley. Why is this the only way the WWE knows how to justify a team or a person getting a championship match? You should not be beating your champions. The Viking Raiders, for the most part, over the last few weeks, have racked up a bunch of wins against the OC and a bunch of other clowns that don't matter. They've been gaining momentum. You could make the case for them getting the title shot without them beating the champions and making Rudolph look ridiculous. Oh, it was a good match. 15-minute tag match that shouldn't be happening. This is a tag team championship match. This is what you're building to. But instead of having segments where Ziggler and Roode are becoming fearful of the Viking Raiders, seeing what they've been doing on the main roster, trying to duck and dodge the eventual challengers because they know that they can't beat them. No, nothing interesting like that. These are the things we did in yesteryear, when wrestling was great. Now we get this. Long matches where champions are being pinned so that they can go to a match against the people that just beat them and probably end up losing anyway. We come back from the break. The Singh brothers are dancing around in the ring. The Singh midgets are back. Were you guys excited? Did you pop in your seat? Ho! It's the two little Singhs. The only thing missing is Jinder Mahal to make this aggravation pop right through the top of my skull. Alistair Black gets called out by these two idiots. Alistair Black goes to the ring, defeats them with ease. 2 men on 1. This match didn't even last 2 minutes. It barely lasted 1. Black mass kick from Alistair Black, and it was over. I'm sure he's really glad he got called up from NXT. Backstage, Braun Strowman now gets to talk to Charlie Caruso. He says he was just trying to have fun when he saw Tyson Fury. So, yeah, because I'm a big 7-foot tall guy, and I'm all about having fun. Who else is that? The Big Show. Only it's the Braun Show. I want to have fun. If you want to have fun, go out there, dress yourself up as a clown, and go the fuck out there and have fun. Why don't you go become one of No Way Jose's little conga morons, since you used to be one of Adam Rose's little rosebuds back in the day. You like to have fun. You look like the big giant ogre from Revenge of the Nerds. You like to have fun. Squaring up against Tyson Fury. You like to have fun. Standing there looking like an idiot. He was just trying to have fun when he saw Fury, but Fury had to get all serious. Strowman knew Fury threw a good punch, but so did he. All of a sudden, Strowman's throwing punches. Okay, fine. Braun Strowman said Fury might get an apology if he asked nicely, but if he didn't, he might get the... Cares. We went to another interview with Rey Mysterio. We are going to address the nonsensical situation that transpired on SmackDown Live. I talked about the way this whole thing should have went down. It would have been much more interesting, and we would have probably been talking a whole lot differently about Hell in a Cell had it gone down that way. Once again, I don't want to reiterate and repeat myself like Monday Night Raw repeats themselves. So if you're interested on how I would have booked Brock Lesnar and Cain Velasquez's first encounter on the WWE, you could check it out in the Hell in a Cell review, which I'm leaving up there for you guys. But let's get back to Raw. Mysterio spoke to Charlie Caruso, thanked the fans for all their support for Dominic. Mysterio's so proud of him. It's his job to protect his son. Apparently, Dominic's laid out in the hospital. What Rey said when he sat at Dominic's bedside, he was visited by his godfather, 2-time UFC heavyweight champion Cain Velasquez, which has absolutely nothing to do with WWE. Nothing. Let me repeat that. Nothing. Anything that happens in the UFC has nothing to do with the WWE and vice versa. That's why WWE wrestlers suck at MMA, and Brock Lesnar is the very rare breed that was able to do both. He sucked as well. If we're being honest about it, he happens to be a multiple-time champion, but he was in the UFC at the time when it was at its least impressive. The guy was beaten by Frank Mir. We're all forgetting about those things. I don't forget. Brock Lesnar is not that impressive as a UFC fighter. He just happens to have a couple of championships under his belt. So does Cain Velasquez, but it doesn't mean the same thing because Brock Lesnar's roots came from professional wrestling and the WWE. So when he goes back, it's different than when you're bringing in a Cain Velasquez. So Mysterio says if anyone was going to avenge their family, it would be Kane. Big Daddy Kane. Right? Rey Mysterio making himself look like a fucking idiot. What, are you not man enough to man up against Brock Lesnar? We know you're only 5 feet tall, bro. But you're literally standing there admitting to yourself and the world that you are not man enough to protect your own son, so you're gonna get your big old cuz to do the job for you. That's not the type of dad I want. I don't give a shit how tiny you are, tiny dad. Get your ass in that ring and fuck that big guy up. You're Rey Mysterio, goddammit. I've seen you wrestle the Big Show. Come on, guys. There was a new Authors of Pain promo. Skip. 6-man tag team match Who do you think was in this one? The OC, the new kings of the six-man tag division. Oh, wait, we don't have a six-man tag division, but it certainly seems like it since every single show continues to feature a six-man tag. And now I am totally convinced that they only reunited the OC so that they had an act for the six-man tag segment of the evening. Think I'm wrong? Watch the programming. It's constantly AJ Styles and the OC versus this one, that one, and this one. Gives a shit, man. And in this case, after they've been repeatedly embarrassed on a weekly basis, they get their token win against another trio that doesn't need to be around, the Lucha House Party. A 10-minute long six-man tag for nothing but to give AJ and the OC a win so they can't start getting pissed off for the way they've... I would still be pissed off. Did you see how AJ Styles walked out of Hell in a Cell last night looking like a goddamn fool? Because he got punched in the face by the Braun Show? Awful. This was really dumb. I don't care how good the action was. You got three of the best luchas in there in the world versus AJ Styles, probably this generation's best wrestler in the world, and then two guys that can go when they want to go or when they're allowed to go, but it doesn't mean anything. So I don't care. I cared about as much as this as I cared about the Miz TV segment. God forbid we do things without a Miz TV to make the Miz look like a big fucking moron. He's got nothing else going on that now he's going to do nothing but interview other people. All right, so we have Miz TV with guests Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. This was very awkward to me from the get-go because they are talking about everything that they've both accomplished and, you know, they've kind of been on the same side over the last couple of weeks since the reemergence of Sasha Banks, who was not anywhere to be seen on this show due to supposedly an injury. We'll keep up on that and let you guys know what's going on. But they're apparently teasing the possibility of Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair being on the same show. They're talking to each other as if that might be a possibility and that they are going to maybe prove who's the better champion. Now, there's two sides to come down on this argument. And the first side being, I'd be all for that if they are going to merge the two championships into one and they want to finally have one overall women's champion going across all three brands. I'd be fine with that. But then there's the other side, which is, why would you do that with these two girls as champions if that's not the end result? And if Becky Lynch somehow, or Charlotte Flair somehow, is going to lose their title on the Friday edition of SmackDown with the draft looming to make things make sense, if they don't do that, then I don't understand why they would even go down this route. Not to forget the most important thing that is wrong with it, which is I would never want to have to sit through another Charlotte versus Becky feud again. I don't need to see that again. We don't need to go down that road again. Stop going backwards. Start taking steps forwards. And they kind of took baby steps forward at the end of this segment. They said what they had to say. The Miz was out there for no reason. He looked like a complete schmuck in this whole thing. They made him look like a sexist at one point. It was just fucking stupid. And then The Miz talked about their match tonight that they are going to have against Asuka and Kairi Sane. Becky Lynch admitted to being beaten up after her match last night in Hell in a Cell, but she don't care. She's a fighting champion. Charlotte Flair brushed it off, and they were ready to take on whatever the Kabuki Warriors were going to bring. Then the Kabuki Warriors come out. They come out acting like a couple of silly little goofballs, and I'm wondering if somebody in the back literally had to talk to the Japanese translator and tell them, listen, I want you to explain to them, go out there and act like idiots. Is there a word in Japanese for idiot? I don't know. You have to let me know, but I'm pretty sure somebody in the back's job was to tell these two fantastic girls with great characters that don't need to be made laughing stocks of and don't need to be walking out there just looking like a couple of clowns. They should be treated with more respect than that. These are the women's tag team champions. You got them walking out there like the bushwhackers? Awful. Anyway, this all would lead to a brawl with the girls as they transitioned into the match portion of the segment. The women's tag team champions, Asuka and Kairi Sane, defeated both the Raw Women's Champion and the SmackDown Women's Champion, once again having champions being pinned. Charlotte Flair just won 24 hours ago, and now she's a fucking loser, but she's the champion, and that's what's important, right? 11 minutes long, this tag team match for absolutely nothing. Everybody was getting all hype on social media. Oh, this might be great for Kairi. This might be great for Asuka. And I'm sitting there laughing at all of you guys because, yeah, that might be the case. But what did I tell you yesterday? The whole reason Kairi Sane and Asuka won those championships at Hell in a Cell is because they want to go somewhere else. They don't want to be on Raw. They don't want to be on SmackDown. They want to go to NXT. They asked to go back to where wrestling is king. And now, all of a sudden, within 48 hours after I first read that story, we've seen them win the Women's Tag Team Championships. And both women, respectively, Kairi Sane and Asuka, are seemingly being inserted in championship programs against Charlotte and Becky in the future. If that's not asking them to please don't go, I don't know what it is. So take it with a grain of salt or a spoonful of sugar, whatever floats your boat. But this is nothing more than the WWE just appeasing them. And then once they get past this point, they're going to go right back down the shitter. Just like they've done with Asuka on multiple occasions already. We are nearly done with this show, and there was not one mention so far thus yet of the Hell in a Cell bullshit that went on. And that might be actually a smart move. Really, as far as business is concerned, if you know that that's the one thing that's going to be thought about in an ultra negative way, maybe the best move was to keep it off the show. As a fan, it annoys me because I need to know what's going on. I want you to treat me like I have a brain and explain things. Even if you fuck up, own up to it and explain it. And so we can move on together. But we barely even mentioned it on this show. We are about to get a Ricochet versus Apollo Crews match for no reason. And I would tell you guys that this is kind of cool, but it's not. You see, because you have finally for the first time a matchup that we have not seen before. It doesn't make any sense to be having this matchup because Apollo Crews is a babyface, Ricochet is a babyface, and this matchup is being contested simply to tease the draft, I guess. Oh, these two guys are both wrestlers. I wonder where they'll go next week. Let's see who's better so that Fox and USA can gauge on who they want to pick just out of these two guys. They don't have to watch anybody else wrestle. They don't have to do anything else. Just these two guys. So they can get a feel. And then they give them a barely 5-minute long match. If they would have gave this match 15, 20 minutes like the other matches on this card and cut some of this other bullshit like Tyson Fury, maybe this would have developed into a match that could have become a great thing. Even without all the story. But 4 minutes? 4 minutes. And now Ricochet makes Apollo Crews look like a fucking loser. Meanwhile, Apollo Crews has been there 3 times as long as Ricochet. It's not fair to Apollo Crews. It's also not fair to Ricochet because none of this means anything. After this, the video, the video showed for the Hell in a Cell, and then they showed Tyson Fury walking backstage. Vic Joseph was like, oh, I can't believe what we seen 24 hours ago, actually referencing it happening. And then the King was like, you're right. And by the way, Tyson Fury's here. Look at Tyson Fury. Ha 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 ha. Look at the pretty colors, kids. Forget all of the depression from yesterday. Just be distracted by a 7-foot-tall Sami Zayn. Pay no attention to the Shane sweat flying off his fists. Awful. They plugged Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler against the Viking Raiders for the Tag Team Championships on Raw next week. It's not going to happen at the Survivor Series. It's not going to happen at Crown Jewel. Next week on Raw. During a draft. That makes sense to you. The Braun Strowman Tyson Fury segment ran way too long. It was way too ridiculous. And it was followed by Braun Strowman getting interviewed once again. He's in the back. He's sweating like Shane. Leaving stains all over the place. He's barking at the camera. Saying he ain't going to apologize to Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury's going to get these hands. Blah, blah, blah. And then he runs back out for the brawl to continue. Every single wrestler emptied out from the back, trying to keep these two big giants apart. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Tyson Fury looked like shit in the ring. Braun Strowman has become the least interesting thing on WWE. This is the same guy that they gave a 7-year-old kid, 11-year-old kid as a tag team partner to. The guy's a 7-foot-tall clown. Look what I can do. Awful. You would think that following such a bullshit show as the Hell in a Cell was, they'd want to come out and really swing for the fences, you know? And make fans feel like, hey, you know what? Don't worry, last night we fucked up, but we're sorry. We got you, and here we go. Watch this. No, that's not at all we got. They phoned this shit in. They were probably scrambling all day long, trying to figure out, what are we going to do? What do we do for Raw tonight? What are we going to do? You're going to suck at your job. You're going to drive the fans insane. You're going to do nonsensical things. You're going to take all of the focus of Monday Night Raw and put it on a boxer, a lineal champion that nobody fucking gives a shit about. And then on SmackDown, you got the same thing going on because we're going to put all the focus on a former UFC champion that hasn't spent 2 minutes in the WWE. Just like Tyson Fury. But these are the two main attractions of the WWE main roster, and I'm not supposed to be mad. They're fucking up a slam dunk like Seth Rollins and The Fiend, and this is what we're getting as a substitution. Non-WWE personalities. Non-professional wrestlers. Are they athletes? Yes, but a boxer and a UFC fighter are not professional wrestlers. I've been training since December. It's the hardest thing you will ever try to do in your life. And it is infinitely more difficult than just going out there and relying on your instincts and throwing hands. It's not the same. And people that think it is need to take one day and go watch a wrestling school in progress. Go watch a class. See what you got to go through to be a professional wrestler. It's not the same. It runs along a similar line, but it's not the same. Some people can do it, some people just can't. And that's what I'm afraid of. These people that can't. These fucking celebrities. Tyson Fury is no different than Snooki coming in for WrestleMania. Cain Velasquez is no different than them bringing in Lawrence Taylor. And that was actually good. They built that to at least make sense. This is the WWE's MO. They think that bringing in the big splash, bringing in these other people to create cross-media buzz is the answer. When the answer's staring you dead in the face, You just refuse to acknowledge it, just like you refuse to acknowledge your ending to the worst pay-per-view of 2019. And it is only the worst pay-per-view based off of that one mistake. Because the mistake that huge cannot be forgiven. And it will never be forgotten, no matter how much you try not to show it to us. This show was a disaster. What did you expect? This was a throwaway show to begin with. Nothing at all happened on this show, really. That's because they know they got the draft coming up. I don't know what they're going to have planned. But starting Friday, things are supposed to be being shaken up. And the landscape of wrestling is supposed to change once again. I'm not getting my hopes up. But it's going to be at least different in a couple of ways. And I guess different is better than continuing on the exact same route that we've been going. Thank you guys for being here for this Monday Night Raw review. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I tried to be as quick as possible, but you guys know as well as I do, when this hammer starts swinging and the anger starts flowing, I'm just going to keep telling you guys how I feel, and I love you guys for being here with me and listening, and as I know most of you are agreeing with me as well. Welcome to all of the new subscribers that have flooded this channel this weekend, getting us oh so damn close to that 2K. We are over 1975. We are over that number. We are just about 20 plus subscribers away from creating history and hitting that mark and getting that 2K before the release of 2K20 in just 15 days. Let's do it, people. Let's hit that mark, and we will do some more 2K20 stuff on this channel for you guys. Maybe we'll do fantasy matchups. Maybe we'll do a career mode. Let's talk about it. Let me know what you'd want to see as a reward for getting this family up over that 2,000 milestone. Hit that subscribe button right now if you want to be a part of that action and help me create that memory and that milestone for this channel right here and right now. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a thing, because we will be here all week long to cover everything wrong in the world of professional wrestling and anything else we feel the need to bring to your attention. My name, ladies and gentlemen, is Nick Nightmare. This is the team Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue the Snowball. The most important member of the team, as always, is each and every one of you. So don't forget to do your part right now. And if you are already subscribed, hit that like button. Let me know you enjoyed today's show and agreed with everything that we had to say by leaving me a comment, agreeing with me in the comment section down below. You are free to disagree with me, as always, but if you come off as a disrespectful prick, you will find yourself in the garbage pail right alongside every Monday Night Raw script for 2019. So don't do it if you want to stay as a member of this awesome family of sledgeheads that we are growing here on Sledgehammer TV every single day. And don't forget to share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world so that they too can join the newest, fastest rising, and coolest, most honest army in the world of YouTube. And that's it. That's all we got. Thank you guys for coming out once again. This is, I guess, the new schedule. This is how it's going to be going every week. And I'm going to be looking forward to seeing you guys on Thursday. Let's all sit back and enjoy Wednesday to the best of our ability, especially coming off this shit. We need wrestling detoxification, and it will come in the form of NXT and AEW, and we will compare them side by side for you guys Thursday nights right here on the channel, and then we will be here as the draft begins Friday for SmackDown. Make sure you guys are here and don't miss a damn thing. That, my friends, is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. I'm beat. Going to bed. So should you.